Akwaba! To all our excellencies, royalties, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in to the official global launch of the Pan-African Heritage World Museum. The Pan-African Heritage World Museum is the world's first Pan-African museum dedicated to uplifting and honoring the entire history and contributions of African people on the continent and across the diaspora. My name is Mandy Mullins Williams, and I am a proud board member of this monumental project, serving as the president of the USA Board of Trustees. As one of several branch presidents from around the world, including in the UK, Nigeria, South Africa, Senegal, Kenya, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, and Egypt, it is an incredible honor to be joining you for this historic occasion. The Pan-African Heritage World Museum, which will have its physical structure located in Ghana by end of 2022, is an ode to Africa. It is a reclamation of everything the violence and destruction of colonialism, slavery, and white supremacy tried to take from our people. It is a reclamation of our community, our resilience, our value, and our humanity. It is a reminder that our history is full and rich and diverse, and that even when the world tries to revise that history, it lives within us and it exists all around us. In short, this museum represents a reclaiming of our narrative, our story. The great Pan-Africanist, Asajefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, would have been 111 years old today, said nearly 60 years ago, "The forces that unite us are intrinsic and greater than the superimposed influences that keep us apart." The Pan-African Heritage World Museum is the product of those uniting forces, from our shared ancestry to our recollection of missing pages of the world history and the finalizing of its history's rough draft. When the doors of this museum open, we'll have the pleasure of not just reconnecting with our truth, but also with each other as a people, and with our ancestors who have waited for this day with eager longing. Over the next hour and a half, we've got a great lineup of speakers, panelists, and performers who will be highlighting various aspects of the history and legacy of Africa. So let's jump into the program. To kick us off, I'd like to welcome His Imperial Majesty, Oba Lamide Olayamiwola Adeyemile III, Aflin of Oyo State, to give us some words of inspiration, followed by an introduction of the museum by Dr. Joseph Silver.
Chairman of Oyo State Council of Brothers and Sisters, I received the invitation to be part of this epoch-making occasion at a time the whole world was reeling under the burden of a pandemic that is not only strange, but equally consequential in many respects. It gladdens my heart that some children of Africa are still committed to the ideals that were vigorously pursued by our forebears to bring Africa together as one indivisible race. In the true spirit of Pan-Africanism, I send to the whole Africa, in our little families, communities, societies, chiefdoms and kingdoms and empires, warm greetings and a message that we all remain steadfast and conscious of our inalienable identity as Africans. The present imperialist political architecture of crude division of Africa into a sphere of influence has failed woefully to serve the purpose of African integration and Pan-African consciousness. It's almost dead. And in the political agenda of contemporary political elites, now seems to be the appropriate time to reconceptualize the nature, character, and pattern of African integration based on our histories, kinship systems, and collective consciousness as a race and as a people. I believe in the vision of Pan-Africanism heritage for better understanding among Africans, for the resuscitation of the soul of Africa, for the good of our sons and daughters, now in far-flung places. The soul of Africa is undying, and our monarchies in their groves, in their sacred groves and objects, they worship and venerate this soul on a daily basis. For Africa to hold its rightful place as the mother continent, all our children must be encouraged to return to this awareness of the power of the African soul. As Ikuba Baye Aláàfin of Ọ̀yọ́, the paramount ruler of Yoruba land and grand custodian of the culture and spirit of Ṣàngó, Ọ̀rànyàn, Ìṣímọ̀já, and other divinities. I, Ọba Alamidi Ọláyíwọlá Adémítọ̀, pray for the children of Africa wherever they are on the face of the earth, that 1. The earth will pour out its abundance and make us available to you. 2. As Africa, you will rise above every obstacle and any impediment to every inch of ground in Africa. We speak out in favor of our children. We now begin to know peace, progress, and development. 4. The abundance of Africa will begin to serve our children and not foreigners. And 5, but not the least, may our ancestors receive the blessing of our efforts, especially this Pan-African Heritage Project, and remove every reproach from our race. Àṣẹ àṣẹdùmarè. Mo kí gbogbo yín, mo sì gbàdúrà fún gbogbo ọmọ ilẹ̀ Áfíríkà aláwọ̀ dúdú, níbikíbi tí wọ́n bá wà tí wọ́n gbọ́ mi. Tí mo sọ fún ẹ, pẹ̀lú ògo Ọlọ́run, ilẹ̀ aláwọ̀ dúdú yóò padà sí ààyè rẹ̀, níbi tí wọ́n ti mú àṣà, gbogbo àgbáyé yóò sì á máa rí nǹkan dáadáa tí ó máa jáde ní ilẹ̀ aláwọ̀ dúdú. Mo kí pẹ̀lú ògo Ọlọ́run, lójú ayé wa ní ìgbà èrò wa ni ó ṣẹ tí yóò sì dáa fún gbogbo yín. Ìgbésí ayé àwọn ọmọ wa àtàwọn tí ń bọ̀ lẹ́yìn wa yóò dáa o. Àṣeyọrí, àṣeyege lẹ́sẹ̀ ní gbogbo ìtẹ́fẹ́ dáwọ́ léyìí, kò ní jẹ́ àkùdé, kò sí nǹkan bú, kò sì ní wọ̀. Gbogbo ẹ̀mí dáadáa ní àlàáfíà láfi lò gbà o. Mo dúpẹ́ ṣé o.
Distinguished guests, distinguished scholars, university associations, representatives from the African Union Commission, representatives from UNESCO, representatives from the countries of Africa, representatives from the Republic of Ghana, to the Honorable Kojo Yankah, to His Honor Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana, I greet you one and all. It is my great honor to introduce this great project to you today. I'm indeed humbled to be a part of this historic day. Today we're having the virtual launch of the Pan-African Heritage World Museum, the brainchild of the Honorable Kojo Yankah, a great and respected son of Ghana, and one who has a worldwide reach, a true Pan-Africanist in his own right. This museum is a project whose time has come. Thank you, Mr. Yankah, for your vision and your leadership. The Pan-African Heritage World Museum is a gift to all of Africa and indeed the world. The Pan-African Heritage World Museum will be a gift to generations yet unborn, such that they will know who laid the foundation and who sowed the seeds of knowledge in math, science, humanities, astronomy, medicine, architectural designs, and all of the disciplines they will come to know and learn. The Pan-African Heritage Museum will be a timely reminder of the lives, sacrifices, and the love of our ancestors, whose homes stretched all across Africa and the diaspora. While this great museum will be hosted in Ghana, it will focus on the contributions of all of Africa and the diaspora. The museum's physical space and its virtual space will extend its reaches across the continent of Africa and around the world. This sacred museum will curate and preserve the history, the ideas, the philosophy, and the cultural heritage of people of Africa and of African descent. The Pan-African Heritage World Museum will honor the social, historical, political, and economic contributions of Africa and the diaspora. The Pan-African World Heritage Museum will be built on the foundations of truth, dignity, respect, solidarity, and accountability. The museum will be a lasting legacy for all the ancestors who've gone before us. The architectural design of the museum will be intentional as a symbol of summoning the ancestors, the kings and the queens of ancient times, but to also summon people from around the world to come and experience all that the museum will have to offer. The physical grounds will have a garden of sculptures, the palace of kingdoms, a garden of herbs, a convening place for scholars to conduct research, a hostel for residency, and a dining facility to allow visitors and staff to enjoy the cuisine of Africa. Indeed, the Pan-African World Museum will be centered in the African proverb which says, "He who does not know can know from learning." For much too long, the world has allowed others to tell the story of Africa and not allow the Africans themselves to tell their story. The lens from which the African story and history have been told has been compromised by colonialism, neocolonialism, imperialism, and racism. No longer will the great history of Africa and the diaspora start with the African slave trade, although the true history of that terrible event must be told. However, we must tell the stories of the great African civilizations that served as the springboard for civilizations around the world. Over the years, Africa has been seen through the filtered lens of Europeans and people of European descent. Their account of Africa and its place in the world only amplified the position and the prowess of the Europeans and marginalized Africa and its people. The Pan-African Heritage World Museum will tell the true story of Africa and the true story of African people. The museum will feature writings by Africans on the continent and Africans throughout the diaspora. The museum will seek to recapture the artifacts that have been taken from or stolen from Africa throughout the ages. The museum will bridge the gap between Africans in the continent and those in the diaspora. As stated by the Honorable Kojo Yankah, the ultimate goal of the museum is to provide a space for people of African descent to unlearn and relearn